All right, hello everyone. Welcome to this sneak peek preview of the reissue of my Edgecore rules, which I've been working now for a couple of months. It's got new and improved artwork, better layouts, improved added segments. Just everything's more readable, and I also managed to make it more high resolution than before. So this is definitely the version you want to have if you downloaded this title in the past. So make sure you re-download it from the site you downloaded it from. So let's get into it here real quick, and let me show you what's new and improved, and just to give you a general layout of this book. So the credits section, I've now added a foreword here that wasn't here before. Obviously, this is the content section, and new artwork for all the segments. So I've added this, setting the timelines. I've added some cool new stuff here, like this artwork, which I'm pretty proud of, which is the fallen one descending onto Gaia. And then stuff like this, roles and classes, and I added like 3 different pictures, one for each timeline. That gives you an idea of what you can play. And then I've added this whole new page here. It's like an introductory sort of page for just how classes work in this game and how to start up your character. All new artworks here, as you can see, for the warriors. This is something I've also added. New sort of symbols for each class here. The old ones were pretty weird, and these are much more uniform, and I think they fit a lot better into the game. It's got Berserker and all this stuff. I also added some new silhouettes to fill out the pages. So now you got all this stuff much more uniform. The pages are all nice and filled out. There's very few spaces, blank spaces, where text should be or stuff like that. Scoundrels, see all these new artworks, snipers and such. Let's just skip through this because there's a lot of this stuff. So these are all the different classes you can play. If you haven't checked this game out yet, you have a massive ton of customization in this game. So you have these sort of meta classes, which are called roles, and then you have each of them break down into 3 or 4 classes, and they pretty much cover like every sort of popular class that I've seen in many different TTRPGs or just RPGs in general. You have mages here, some cool artwork here for these guys, and yeah, that's the class section pretty much. Almost there. See the Elementalist artwork. And that's that. There's a table at the end for if you want to search by talent, because you can always borrow features from different classes. Class appendices, I actually moved this up here. Before, if you knew the book before, it started off with advancing your character and all that stuff. And I just switched this up a bit because I felt it was more important to see all the classes, all the cool stuff that you want to play in the beginning, and then later on actually break it down on how to make a character and everything. So these are all the class appendices for certain classes that need extra explanation, such as shapeshifters and such. Some summoning guides here, and you can see summoning a demon here. Also, yeah, spruced up this table as well. I've actually spruced up these whole few pages, and I added more information, made it more readable, made it more. It was a little confusing before. Now it's a lot better, I think. I've changed some retraining rules here. Now you can't retrain everything, just the most recent thing you got. It's kind of like an undo button for your character. The most recent thing you got. Not the whole build as it was before. I've streamlined the notches here I think these were a bit off. I've made them better. And character creation, and now I actually checked this whole segment. There were some inconsistencies here, fixed all of that. It's still a 9-step character creator, so most of the stuff that you've seen here is still there. Origins, this is all the same stuff. Reputation, yada yada. Some new artwork here. Faith and morality, languages, and then the basics. And then we go into the basics. This is very familiar to those of you who played. So this, I haven't changed this segment that much, although I did fix some grammar, some mistaken grammar, and also some design issues that were present. This is pretty much the same because this was all fine before. I'm kind of like this one. This playing the game segment, throwing dice out of an ethereal void. Yeah. So this is all very similar. Again, there were minor fixes all over even this, if this looks very similar, there's like small changes throughout. Just some stuff that didn't make sense. Oh yeah, injuries. Added a new optional segment. New artwork here. Then all these conditions. Added a new maimed limb section so you can see what maiming each limb does. The panic condition, I expanded this a bit. And the power section. This is pretty much the same as well, but with some small changes over here when we go to basic powers. So I've renamed some of these. They used to be damage fire, and then you have the water one that's damage water. It was just all too confusing, so... Because if someone would cast Conjure Fire, they would be like, I cast Conjure Fire and then I use Damage Fire. I just say, I cast Conjure Fire to damage. So I just changed this name to be more uniform, and I also added these, instead of Summon Fire, it was Summon Fire Elemental, so you know exactly what you're summoning. So I just renamed some of these to make them less confusing. You can see here, same thing, Water Elementals, Ice Brand, and some cool new artwork here. Nice little water mage. Earth mage. Air mage. Life conjuration. I changed this to summon wildlife when you're summoning animals or plants. And then I renamed some of these into ward and greater ward. I also switched up some of these in terms of level requirements. So shields and stuff like that, like magical shields, you can get earlier now, which I feel was needed to more easily shield against certain damage types. And that's pretty much it here. Yeah. And then we got the unique powers. These are pretty much all the same. I think maybe one or two have a slight change in the description, but nothing drastic. So a little bit of artwork here. Another one here, casting some sort of huge lightning bolt, or whatever you want to call it, lightning streak. Some nice little insanity. Oh yeah, I added 2 more to these. Used to be 4, now there's 6. I added lunacy and delusion as well. Just to fill out the page and also give you a bit more options. It's still random, but it's a bit more fun now, I think, because we all love that random stuff when we roll on these spells. I think here pretty much everything's mostly the same. No huge changes here. And then I actually gave these proper stat blocks now, so they look like actual stat blocks, not just text with lines. That's a bit more elaborate. It's not perfect, but it's way better than it was before, because there's a lot of these. And I also added artworks to these to make these pages not so boring, because they were all just stacked up one over the other. You got a nice little air elemental here. Got a bear, black bear. anaconda, a ghost, and then of course a skeleton and a demon. A fire demon to be exact, because demons in my game are corrupted elementals. Item rules, again, one picture for each timeline. You got this little stash of gadgets here. Bullets. Beers. Trade goods to be exact. Animal companions. This is the same artwork as before, but I just... This is the same artwork as before, but I just removed the sort of little what was it called? It's like a filter that I put over it before, just because I was using a lot of these royalty-free artworks, and I had to make them look more uniform, but it was pretty bad, and it was a pretty bad result. Now here we also have 3 pictures for each timeline, for the vehicles or mounts in this case as well. Got a nice flying car here, a hover car. Tank. And then Game Master's Guide. I also used the original picture, but I spruced it up a bit, made it a bit more interesting. And we have all this stuff as that the GM can read through, making their own races. You know, making their own factions, quests, creatures. Like this one, like custom creatures. Environment. Falling damage, stuff like that. So this is all included in this book. It's 309 pages, and you get a lot of stuff for it. You even get stuff like mass combat rules. And you get like different, unit types, like pole army infantry, ranged cavalry, all that stuff and how it works. It's all in one unified system. And while I haven't actually, experimented with the mass combat rules a lot, I think they should work because they're based on some different mass combat rules I've done in the past. Just to put my own twist to it and combined a few of them together. Downtime activities, a welder for, crafting items. And that's pretty much that. Then you have a GM screen, which is very, very utilitarian. I am aware of this. But this is literally just something which, if you have an actual GM screen from a different game, you just print this out and just pop these segments. You just, pop them onto the inside of the GM screen. Just to keep track of certain things that you might forget in this game. And also, I updated the character sheet a bit. So now you have a damage reduction segment for every different damage type here. Because I realized that certain people will be a bit annoyed by not remembering how each damage type applies to armor and how resistance applies to it. So you could just type in here the exact number. Like, let's say you have, acid, you could type in, you have resistance to acid, so you type in a D8 here. And then if you have, like, armor that's, tempered against acid damage, you could put plus DV. And then you can say, okay, I got a D8, and I add my armor DV, and that's how much I reduce the damage. So it's much simpler now in terms of damage calculation from the player's side. And I also did the same thing for... I also expanded these focus segments, stamina, and I also added a temporary wounds section here, because you can get some temporary wounds, max wounds. So it's to more easily track if you're playing with an actual printout. So it's easier to track these resources. And then I got... here we go. So this is the creature sheet for the GM. Same thing. I just pasted the same thing here, so you have the same idea. Easier to track this kind of stuff. And the rest is the same. And that's it. That is the core rules, the new and updated revised 2.0 edition. I really suggest, if you download the title, I really suggest you download this one. It is vastly improved over the original. Nicer to look at, nicer, easier to read. Just an overall improvement in every sense of the word. I think I've worked on it for quite a while. So yeah, hope you like it. Hope you check it out. I will be putting a discount code in for people who have either purchased the original, not the original, but who have downloaded the starter set, the free, which is the free version of the rules. In the past, like, couple of months, they will now get a discount code for this new version of the rules. And those of you who bought it, you already get it anyway. You just re-download it. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone for checking this out. And the next book I will be reissuing is my last book that I made, which is the Tome of Guidance. That shouldn't take too long. Should probably take a month at the most, probably a couple of weeks. And then I'm actually going to be prepping my books for print on demand. So once all this is done, I'm gonna make sure that every book is gonna be print on demand available, so you can actually buy the print version and have it in physical form. Because I know a lot of people like to have that, and I will definitely do that. I just need to figure out how to do that properly, and yeah, that's the next project. So stay tuned. I will see you later. Goodbye.